what I've written so I can speak to that. All right, let me do this here. All right. So what I'd like to focus on today is how do we cultivate loving relationships as a key part of this practice of the third precept. We've talked about restraint in terms of sensual and sexual misconduct, but kind of the flip side of that, as well as respect that we've also talked about, is how to conduct ourselves in loving relationships with sensuality and sexuality as part of that. And to start off, let me just say it can be easy, and many people have done this, is to misinterpret the Buddhist guidelines for monks and nuns to be celibate as kind of a rejection or a negative attitude toward romantic relationships in general. However, as Thich Nhat Hanh and other teachers point out, the Buddha never stated that romantic love shouldn't be a part of the human experience. Rather, that to be truly beneficial, it needs to be encompassed within a deeper love. And many teachers have stated that all of us need love and all of us need to love. In fact, the realization of the Buddha on the morning of his enlightenment was that all of us have the capacity to love and understand and need to express this. In a lovely little book by Thich Nhat Hanh called How to Love, he points out that it's easy to think if we just find the right person who will love us, we will feel less alone and be happy. He presents a great metaphor. He says, very often we feel like a pot without a lid. We believe that our lid is somewhere in the world and that if we look very hard, we'll find the right lid to cover our pot. We think we need someone else to lean on, to take refuge in, to diminish our suffering, to make us happy. We can focus on the need and the lack and become hungry ghosts, as Bill talked about. Or we can focus on generating the energy of mindfulness and understanding that can heal our loneliness, our suffering, and help our loved one as well. The cultivation of true love, which is the term Thich Nhat Hanh uses to describe this deeper love, as the foundation for romantic love, includes practicing the Brahma-viharas in relationship. And notice how the teachings circle around and come back to us, this time from a different perspective. We've done the Brahma-viharas. As Catherine stated, we already know this. And we can deepen our practice of cultivating the Brahma-viharas for ourselves by expanding this to include our loved one or ones. So starting with kindliness or metta, loving kindness, being kind to ourselves and each other. And as others this month have talked about, the importance of taking care of ourselves, respecting and being kind to ourselves, our bodies, so that we can then kindly share ourselves with others. Appreciating how sharing of myself consists of both kindness to myself and kindness to another, and a generosity to myself and to another. I must say, talking of sexuality, when I first became sexual, I didn't know what a kindness to myself was. I didn't know how any of this was supposed to go or how to feel. How could I possibly know how to share this with someone when I didn't know this for myself? So we really need to start with ourselves and be kind to ourselves and feel that embodied experience. This is what it feels like to be kind to myself. And while this can involve all forms of intimacy, physical, emotional, spiritual, I'd like to talk to a bit about the importance of physical context. While I was preparing for this talk, I read a newspaper article talking about a very large research review of all the research on the importance of human touch. And you probably have heard some studies about monkeys with cloth mothers or screen and all of that, but a lot has been done with human beings, with premature babies. Premature babies who are held develop more quickly, more readily. Studies on older adults with dementia who got back rubs were less agitated and less depressed. So, from birth to the end of life, the importance of human contact is essential for our well being. And Thich Nhat Hanh shares a lovely story. When he was a young monk, a friend dropped him off at the airport. And the friend said, "Gee, is it okay to hug a Buddhist monk?" And Thich Nhat Hanh was uncertain because hugging wasn't part of his conditioned cultural tradition. So he wasn't used to that. So he said, "Well, okay, I guess." And the person hugged him. And he felt the warmth of that contact. And so he developed hugging meditation. And let me just describe it as he does. Hugging meditation includes offering a, quote, real hug to the person you are holding, making them very real in your arms, not just for the sake of appearances, patting them on the back to pretend you are there, but breathing consciously and hugging with all your body, spirit, and heart. My friend, I feel you in my arms and I know you are here and alive. How can we benefit from that? And certainly with a sensitivity. Is it okay if I hug you? Checking it out. Is this really a kindness to the other person? Or does it not feel good to the other person? And when I was on a few retreats with Thich Nhat Hanh, he would bring his monks and his nuns along with him. And what really moved me and touched me spiritually and emotionally, was to watch the nuns and monks walking with each other, often holding hands. And it was so dear and so kind and so tender, just that importance and kindness of human contact. Some phrases that I've thought of for myself: may I hold myself in kindness and tenderness. May I hold you in kindness and tenderness. May we hold each other in kindness and tenderness. The second Brahma Vihara, or quality to cultivate true love, is compassion, wanting to ease my suffering, compassion for myself, noticing and appreciating my own suffering and how I can provide compassion and ease and some comfort to my own suffering. And I can also notice the suffering of the one I love. not taking responsibility for that or responsibility for making their suffering go away. Tried that, done that. It doesn't usually work too well. But wishing that their suffering be comforted and relieved, just as I wish for my own. And recognizing that their suffering is also my suffering, as with all beings, the interbeing of suffering, and wishing relief for my loved one from their suffering. And being willing to work at keeping my heart open in the face of their suffering, even if I can't make it go away. Even while I recognize that my loved one cannot prevent my suffering, may I appreciate their comfort and support. And even when I recognize that I cannot prevent my loved one from suffering, may I do what I can to bear witness and provide comfort and support. And the practice and cultivation of the third Brahma Vihara, joy or gladness or contentment, appreciating my own joy, wishing joyful interactions for myself and appreciating the joy of my loved one. And if I want to bring joy and gladness to myself, I need to appreciate what brings me joy. So I need to look more deeply into myself, and so too for my loved one. I need to deepen my understanding what for him brings joy, contentment, gladness. If my loved one hates Brussels sprouts, the smell and the taste of Brussels sprouts, cooking Brussels sprouts for him will not bring him joy. But since I love Brussels sprouts, maybe he can appreciate my joy in eating Brussels sprouts. And I can be happy and appreciate his joy in not having to eat Brussels sprouts. And within our relationship, we can be happy for each other's happy. May my heart know joy and contentment. May I find gladness in your joy. May you find joy in my gladness. May we share contentment with each other. And finally, equanimity or non-description or no difference. I'm not more valuable than you. My sadness is neither more nor less important than your sadness. My joy is not more or less valuable than your joy. Your joy is not more or less valuable than my joy. This is balance. This is no difference. This is equanimity. I can appreciate your suffering when I'm feeling very warmly towards you and our relationship is going well. And I can appreciate your suffering when I'm feeling angry towards you and our relationship is feeling rocky. This sadness or joy isn't mine or yours or even ours. It just is. It's part of the impermanence of relationship. We can just allow joy to be present when it's present and savor it when it arises with great gratitude within the relationship. And just accept pain and sadness as it arises with great compassion and kindness. These qualities can be practiced throughout our relationships, whether our relationship is beginning, in the middle, or ending. We can practice cultivating kindness, compassion, joy, and balance. This isn't easy. For me, it's often not easy to know if I'm valuing myself or my loved one more, if I'm being equally compassionate to myself as to my loved one. It's an ongoing exploration involving much practice on and off the cushion. As Catherine pointed out, using the acronym RAIN, recognizing the experience, allowing it to be, investigating and deepening, and not identifying. My meditation practice is essential to staying connected to myself, my loved one, and cultivating these Brahma Viharas in our relationship. And let me just end with this quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. When we love someone, we should look deeply into the nature of that love. True love doesn't foster suffering or attachment. On the contrary, it brings well-being to ourselves and to others. True love is generated from within. For true love to be there, you need to feel complete in yourself, not needing love to be there, not needing something from outside. True love is like the sun shining with its own light and offering that light to everyone. So thank you for your very kind attention and presence. And let's practice letting our sun shine, letting our sun shine in, to quote the Beatles. And beginning, as always, with ourselves and our bodies, being kind and gentle and loving, compassionate, practicing all of the Brahma Viharas in this instant. What can bring a bit more ease and comfort? What stretch? Maybe if your body feels it as a kindness, stretching the arms above the head, bending to the right and to the left. What is a kindness? What is compassionate? To help the body feel a bit more comfortable and at ease. Perhaps a bit of twisting, wringing out any tension, any tightness, a bit of loosening and softening. Or paying attention to what would be kind to our neck and our shoulders. Are they crunched up? Can we loosen them a little bit, shake them loose? Gently move the neck muscles to ease any strain or tightness. And feel the embodied impact of that movement and kindness and compassion and honoring of our bodies. And simply allowing the breath to settle in to the housing of our body. Breathing in to feel the sense of fullness and spaciousness. Breathing out to feel grounded and settled, releasing unnecessary tightness and tension. Deepening our loving relationship with our bodies and hearts and minds. And perhaps just noticing where your hands are resting on your body, or moving your hands to be on your heart, and noticing the comfort, the compassion, the joy that can be experienced in just that human touch. And for the remaining several minutes of this practice, if it fits for you, allowing your heart to open whatever amount more it might, to include all of us sitting here together, holding each other kindly, caringly, joyfully, with much comfort and ease, in gratitude and appreciation.